Now that George Zimmerman's been cleared of the killing of Trayvon Martin, we are counting down today's top 3 brand new burning questions. We begin with number 3, as Zimmerman joins the ranks of some of the most despised figures in history who have been a murder rap. Showbiz Tonight dares to ask which verdict was more outrageous, the George Zimmerman case, Casey Anthony being cleared, or O.J. Simpson. Jane Velez-Mitchell, who's host of HLN's Jane Velez-Mitchell, is with me tonight, along with reality TV star Omarosa. Manigault is in Hollywood. Omarosa watched the Zimmerman trial very closely. Ladies, thanks for being with us here. So with all the protests, the outrage, the heated debates going on, I mean, you can't help but think of the reaction following the Casey Anthony trial, the O.J. Simpson trial. So we got to ask here, Jane, which verdict do you think is more outrageous?
Well, I was in Orlando for Casey. I was in Los Angeles for O.J. They're all equally outrageous in the sense that innocent people died. Trayvon Martin, little Kaylee Anthony, and Nicole Simpson and Ron Goldman. But I would have to say, in terms of ignoring overwhelming evidence, the most outrageous and shocking had to be the O.J. Simpson case. Many key witnesses had their testimony thrown out because they had sold their story. There was the controversy about the detective who discovered some of the most incriminating evidence using racist terms. So essentially, the trial got sidetracked, and I don't think justice was done. That was the biggest outrage to me, but they're all outrageous.
Omarosa, do you agree with Jane? The O.J. trial, most shocking?
There's no question that that was very outrageous, but I have to tell you, it depends on your background, who you are, and what your interests are, which one of these cases are going to be outrageous to you. If you're an African-American mom worried about your young sons, then you're going to think this Zimmerman trial and this acquittal was just outrageous. But there are people who watched the Casey Anthony trial and thought that's the most outrageous thing to happen in recent history. But I remember very clearly that O.J. Simpson trial, and I know that it was the most outrageous acquittal in the history of this country.
Well, and Zimmerman, he may be keeping quiet for now about the verdict, but I mean, some of the biggest celebrities in the world definitely are not. At number 2, the Showbiz Countdown. Why is Hollywood so heated up over the verdict? Beyonce was in concert in Nashville. When she heard the news that Trayvon, or rather that Zimmerman was found not guilty, she called for a moment of silence for Trayvon Martin. Then she followed up with this tribute. Watch. Wow, Jane, an emotional moment there from Beyonce. I mean, it was almost as if she took it personally, though.
I think it was wonderful, and it's wonderful that we live in a free country where celebrities, along with other citizens, can express themselves and express themselves beautifully and poetically, which is exactly what she did. She was moved by this. It happened right as she was in concert. She had the quick thinking to change the show and react to this with the moment of silence in the song, and I say bravo to her.
Yeah, and I've got to tell you that Beyonce, she wasn't alone either. Celebrities tweeted like crazy after the verdict came in, including Michael Moore, who tweeted, had a gun-toting Trayvon Martin, stalked an unarmed George Zimmerman, and then shot him to death. Do I even need to complete this sentence? Omarosa, to Michael Moore's point, what if there was a race reversal here? What do you think?
If there was a race reversal, there is no question that he would have been arrested immediately and charged with this murder. The fact is that he was not arrested. Even as this child was being buried, there were no charges brought against George Zimmerman. And that's where the outrage is coming from. There's no question. If the roles were reversed, he would have been convicted, he would have been arrested, and there would not have been any delay.
And Jane, what do you think if the roles had been reversed?
Well, let me say this. I think that, in my opinion, the biggest problem is Florida's stand your ground law. It's a very controversial law. It doesn't exist in a lot of other states, and it does give people the right, when they're carrying weapons, to react. I don't think that citizens should be judge and jury. I think that we should try to keep that in the judicial system, and that law makes a situation like this more likely to happen. And so,
stand your ground does not allow you to stalk young people, Jane. It does not give you the right to go and follow a young man because he looks suspicious.
I agree with you. I think that there's a lot of problems, and I hope that this is an opportunity for dialogue to really become more of a society of nonviolence, of peace, and to realize we're all earthlings, and we need to live together in harmony.
Yeah, and we can all agree that it's tragic that a young man is dead today. And now that Zimmerman is free, though, cleared of a crime, what's next for him? That takes us to number one on the Showbiz Countdown of Burning Questions. Will he try to cash in on his notoriety? Jane, I mean, he can't go back to his old job. Would it be wrong for him to cash in with a tell-all book or even more?
I hope not. I would say shame on you if he decided to do that. And I am very disturbed that his defense team is talking about, well, he is getting his gun back. We know that that's a fact. But talking about it and saying he needs to have it more than ever. Really, at this moment in time, to use some of the phrases that Mark O'Mara used in his closing. Really? Seriously? Is that what you need to be talking about now? Or does George Zimmerman need to lay low and try to get out of the news and maybe go into therapy and find out why he had all these impulses to be a cop and what was going on in his mind at the time, and maybe work some of that stuff out?
Omarosa, your thoughts?
But he's already been cashing in. He'd been getting so much support from a lot of groups who wanted to make sure that he was not convicted. So it would not surprise me that he is going to get a book deal, that he'll cut some kind of movie deal, because he's already been doing that. So we know he's going to continue to cash in.
And guys, I want to get to this. This is just coming in. Zimmerman's lawyer, Mark O'Mara, just told CNN's Martin Savage that even though he's a free man, Zimmerman still has a tough road ahead. Let's watch that.
What kind of life will he have?
Not a good one. I think he has to live mostly in hiding. He's got to be able to protect himself from that periphery that still believe that he's some racist murderer or acted in a bad way, and that you don't know who they are. You don't know if they're down the street or you don't know if they're across the country. I think that he's probably concerned about living still in Central Florida and never having a normal life.
Yeah, so he definitely has a different life now. Zimmerman, he's been hiding out for more than a year. Omarosa, now that the trial's over, do you think that Zimmerman should speak out and say something?
I think he should stay in hiding. I have heard and I've seen all of these posts saying that what the courts couldn't do, the streets will do. And as a result, street justice is very different than judicial justice. And I think that he should stay in hiding and lay low.
And Jane, what do you think? When would be a good time for Zimmerman to speak out if he decides to? Is there the right timing?
Maybe he should hang out with Casey Anthony. The two of them are in Florida and hiding. Every time Casey goes out and sits at a diner, it's like, oh, somebody spotted the abominable snowman, and everybody takes pictures and tabloids, and we all wonder. There's no way that George Zimmerman's going to be able to get up and go out, even if he is wearing a protective vest, as his lawyers say he is going to do. He needs to go on a retreat and do a lot of meditation and work on himself and stay out of the news and not write a book. He needs to find out why. My personal theory is that his dad was a judge, was a magistrate, and he was seeking his dad's approval. Daddy's approval. That's why he wanted to become a police officer. That's why he was so interested in law enforcement. And I don't think he ever got daddy's approval. And now he might have an even harder time getting daddy's approval.
Yeah, it'll be interesting if he does speak out. Omarosa, there's got to be something that you would want to hear him say. What is that?
I think that he should apologize to this family, and I think he also needs to show some sort of remorse. I listened to his brother on one of the shows here on CNN who talked about how Trayvon might have brought this on to himself and how he's a free man and so he should just be left alone. But the truth of the matter is the more they talk, the more they stir the pot, and spirits are high, and people are concerned that he got away with murder.
And Jane, 10 seconds, what do you think he should say, Zimmerman?
I feel for the family. I am so sorry this happened. If he doesn't want to admit culpability for legal reasons, there's civil suits and other things, I think he should say, my heart goes out to the family. I wish that I had never gotten in my car to go to Target that night.